All right, so that we know is coming out, well, sooner rather than later, we hope, because we're both kind of Bad Boys fans.
We're like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. We're getting old. So let's see it.
Right. I'm sure that you'd have to be Will Smith, because I think I look more like Martin Lawrence. So. Anyway, moving on to more nerd news. And this is not necessarily nerd news, but I bring up this entertainment news because it is coming out of the islands. And I figured you guys would enjoy it. It looks like Hawaii will once again take center stage on the big screen. Disney Pixar is releasing a new animated short film entitled Lava. It was inspired by the sights and sounds and people of the islands. It is a fiery love story of two volcanoes searching for love. Okay? According to the gentleman who is voicing it, his name is Kuana Torres Kahele. He says that his role, the name of the volcano that he's playing, is Uku. For those of you that don't know,
Uku's are.
All right, just want to let you know that Uku is a menace here in the islands, especially for the youngsters in elementary school. For those of you that are listening that are not from the islands, an Uku or Ukus are lice.
Yep. Yep, and
they're lice.
If you go to public school, you deal with them sooner or later.
That's right, and you're brushing them out of your kid's hair, all right, or you're shaving your kid's head. That's why I've always had a shaved head. Never had to worry about an uku in my life. And it looks like it's going to be a short film. It's a 7-minute short. It's like one of those movies that, or one of those short films that go before a main feature, Pixar feature.
Yep, like the squirrel that's always trying to get the nut and all the other.
Right.
Ice Age movies.
Right. And also, apparently, that not only is he in it, he's voicing, I believe that the other voice is Kumuhula Napua Grieg, and she's going to be playing the other volcano. I'd like to see how this is going to turn out. I wonder, first off, how volcanoes make babies. And then
I wonder how they move to try to find their love interest.
Right. I wonder how volcanoes kiss. I mean, you know.
And if they do a whole bunch of people die because lava?
Right. I'm sure there'll be premature eruptions. But anyway, I guess the world premiere is going to be happening October 30th through November 9th on Oahu. And then we will be seeing it here, or it'll be on the big screen in, I guess, June of 2015 with an animated feature called Inside Out. So, lava.
Who knew?
Who knew that the love of two volcanoes could bring Pixar together to make a short film?
I think as long as they try to stay away from mimicking pigeon,
listen.
Then they'll do all right.
All right,
as far as that goes.
And for those of you that listening do not know pigeon, it is I don't even want to say that it's a dialect, but it kind of is.
And when people try to imitate it,
it's horrible.
It's horrible. I married a local, and if I ever want to make my wife shake her head, I try to talk pigeon.
You should totally try and talk pigeon. You know what you should do? You should, next time we're on, you should craft the way you speak locally, and maybe you should use it on the show a little bit, bro.
I think I'll pass. Thank you very much.
You sure?
I'll think about it.
It'd be an interesting experiment. I mean, I'd like to give that a try. If you guys listen,
I do like staying on the show.
I know. Just Google pigeon. It's spelled Pidgin.
Interesting note. If you go to the Bahamas,
yes,
they actually have a very similar pigeon.
Right. You know why? It's called broken English. Okay, that's why. Oh man!
In Hawaii, they have a little different backstory.
Yes, they do. Of course, I'm just kidding. I'm just making light.
I'm an educated Howie.
Well, that's very good. It gives you a little local street cred. I mean, we do have in the peanut gallery. We do have a certified local guy who can really turn on the pigeon if he wanted to. Hey. I wasn't very pigeon, but we'll wait. Thanks for chiming in, brother. Appreciate it.
Sure.
So yes, lava. It's nice to see the islands recognized once in a while from Disney. Disney has, I think Disney has kind of an affinity for the islands. With Lilo and Stitch.
And they actually
Because if you don't know, Collector J, Ohana means family.
It does mean family.
So,
no one gets left behind.
That's right. No one gets left behind.
And
So
mahalo means trash can.
And mahalo means trash can. So they have an affinity for the islands and the local culture. And now, if you've never been here, it's always a unique. Living in the islands is quite a unique experience for those of you that never come, because, one of the things that I always say is that everybody goes, well, New York City is the melting pot of the country. And and I'm thinking to myself, what's interesting is that you have your little Italies and your Chinatowns, and you have the Armenian district, you have Harlem, you have all of these different cultures in there, all separated into societies or into their own little cities. Here in the islands, it's a very different way of life, because we are literally a melting pot. We're all mixed, and the culture even shows that. So I always consider Hawaii a melting pot, because not only are we combined as people, because there are so many different mixes of people here. You've got those that are Haole and Filipino, like myself, half. You've got Hawaiian, Chinese guys, but you also have, what's really cool is that you also blend the culture of the islands with the food and with it's all fused together. Hawaii is always a big fusion. So for those of you that don't know, just know that we, ladies and gentlemen,
and just because it has pineapple in it doesn't make it Hawaiian.
That's right. A Hawaiian style pizza from Domino's is not Hawaiian.
That's a pineapple
pizza.
All
right. And by the way, just to let you know, we do not all live in huts, and we do not all eat coconuts.
No, I actually hate coconut.
Oh, you hate coconut too. We have homes. That's why we know about these things, and we can record podcasts. Yes. So just to give you guys a heads up. Moving on to more news this morning. You sent an interesting, something we haven't talked about very much on this show as of yet, because I'm actually saving it for episode 7, which is going to be next week, and we're going to try and give more of a rundown on it. And I think I am going to save it. Star Wars Episode 7. Give you a little precursor before we talk about it. Star Wars Episode 7 has had a lot of media attention as of late. It is also it has also become a very I guess you could say the set and J.J. Abrams has really connected Star Wars to charities and to get the name out there, showing little previews here and there of certain creatures and also of ships and things like that. And it looks like you're a fan, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And I next week we'll talk more about that. We'll talk about what we think that the Star Wars Episode 7 will be like. We'll even talk a little bit about experiences that have happened on the set that have been shared by other people that have been allowed to go on there. So Episode 7 of the show will be fittingly maybe a little more Star Wars-esque. Next week we'll talk a lot about Star Wars and talk about what we think that's quite possibly what the next Star Wars movie will be. And now knowing that the Star Wars universe outside of the movies is no longer canon, which we'll get into, a lot of people are ticked off about that. It's opened it up to a lot of new, gives us a lot of new possibilities for the Star Wars universe. So, are you more of a Star Wars guy or a Star Trek guy?
Star Wars.
Star Wars guy?
Star Wars. Okay. I do like the new Star Trek series way better than the old ones.
Really? All right. Wow. I love the old ones.
I love the old ones as well, but
I don't choose sides, but I don't choose sides. But if somebody asks,
each his own.
If I was waterboarded, or if there was a gun pointed to my head, I would have to say that I'm a Trek guy.
So if he ever outright comes out and says he's a Trek guy, you guys know what's going on.
That's right. So we'll talk more about Star Wars next week in fittingly the episode 7. Now, moving on to some more news in the geek culture. Robin Williams, of course, passed away, or we talked about his passing last week. He now has officially been memorialized in the World of Warcraft. You want to give us a little bit more on that, Collector J?
Well, there's what happened is the build was data mined. And what they found was a genie called Robin the Entertainer.
Wow, really?
Yeah, which kind of makes it interesting because being a genie, he's able to transform into a whole bunch of other things. Right. So some of the speculations is a troll called Jumanji. There's even a human female that was spotted, maybe a nod to Mrs. Doubtfire.
Sure.
And a human male, which some think is going to be Mork. Not sure how they're going to play into the story, whether they're going to give quests or you can just talk to him.
I hope he gives out quests.
Yeah, I think you could have a lot of fun with that.
You definitely could. That is without a doubt. So he has been, fittingly enough, has been memorialized in World of Warcraft. As if you don't know, when we talked about it last week, Robin Williams was a big nerd himself and quite the gamer. So he played World of Warcraft.
And they also did the same thing with World of Warcraft. Everyone petitioned to have him memorialized. They did the same thing with Nintendo, trying to get him into Zelda.
Yes, I had read about that.
They didn't say they were going to do it. They just sent their condolences and said that that was about it. So not sure if Nintendo's going to do it with Zelda.
Right.
Robin's daughter named Zelda.
Right.
So
right.
Hopefully they'll do both.
Well, here's the thing: is that as we know, Nintendo has much bigger things on their plate right now, like surviving as a company.
Yes, staying alive.
Right. So,
but who knows? Maybe a Robin Williams thing might help him out.
Right. Well, when you find out that your Wii U, which you've depended a lot upon, will not get Call of Duty this year, the advanced.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. So that must hurt them just a little bit. Yeah, not good. But Robin Williams being memorialized in World of Warcraft, that's something that can be instantly done because World of Warcraft is a PC game and they can instantly put in things like that. So good for Blizzard and good Blizzard Activision for putting that together and memorializing him and recognizing, I guess such a famous World of Warcraft player. Have you played?
I was addicted for the. I started playing the week it came out.
Right. You were playing vanilla. Wow. Okay.
I started actually on Warcraft 3.
Oh, that's where I started too.
Started on Warcraft 3. I actually like their tower defense way better than anything that's on the phone these days. But
so you were a Dota guy. You were a Defense of the Ancients guy. You like that? Yeah,
I played that. Then I got into the World of Warcraft for about 5 or 6 years straight.
All right, nerd question. What class were you rolling?
I had one of each.
Oh, shut up.
I had my warrior. I had my. Who else did I have maxed? I only got up to 80 because that's when I stopped. Is when they capped it at 80.
Right. They capped it at 80.
I had my priest, which I ended up finally finishing my addiction on. Was playing the priest the most.
Right.
But I still wasn't able to play as hardcore as a lot of other guys. So I was still middle of the road as far as armor and weapons and all that other stuff. But yeah, I was heavily addicted.
I was too. It's super fun. I got a couple of classes. I was a paladin for a while.
Okay.
I was a blood elf.
Oh, nice.
Blood elf paladin. I got that sucker up to 80, and then I was also a Tauren druid. So I love the druid class. Druid class is awesome because you can turn into the bear and everything. I love that.
The day that I stopped, I woke up and realized I had got nothing done that I had set out to do. So I erased everything on the computer.
You know what's funny was that when you play that and you realize that like 9 hours of your day is gone.
9? That was on a good day. Probably 14 or 15.
I stopped myself, although I am looking forward to the new expansion.
And then one of the things though is I tried it a couple years later. I spent because they always send me emails. Hey, get a free month free and
do you go back on?
I tried it once. I lasted about 10 minutes, and I was like, no, I'm done. And then,
really?
But I did jump into the Star Wars MM.
Oh, the the Old Republic.
Yes, that was actually kind of fun. Did that for a couple weeks and then realized I was going down the same path, so I erased that one too.
Wow, it's nice to know that you can recognize your addiction before you actually fall into it.
Yes, first step is
knowing you have a problem, right? Admitting you got a problem. So those things, those can take you down a long and nasty road.
I think I saw my face on the South Park.